Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. On today's video we'll be looking at some Wild West figures. Only three, don't want to overpower you with them, and a bit of terrain. Before I start, I've shot this video, got to be 5 or 6 times now, and I've been getting more deeper and more angry before I even got to any figures. So I'm keeping this short. To the people of Ukraine, I personally am thinking about you. I feel really bad making a video on metal soldiers when what's happening in Ukraine is happening. We have gone back to the 1930s, but always remember what happened to the tyrants by 1945. Just remember that. Right, let's get on with it. As I say, I've literally gone on, as I do on my rambles, and I've got really into it. And as I say, I don't do politics, but I've not seen really anybody calling it out, and I just wanted to, it's wrong. It is wrong. Right, sorry. If I don't move on, we're going to get bogged down in a Ukrainian rant, and we don't want to hear that. It'll only attract the wrong people. Anyway, let's get on with what I've got to show you. So on today's video, we've got 3 artisan 28mm Wild West figures, and we've got See, PTSD with all that I'm going on. It's really triggering me, PTSD. I'm looking at it now. I've got the Wild West building that I might have showed you in flat pack, I can't remember. War bases, that's what I was saying. I've got them from war bases. And yet another side project, which will be a side project of all the other side projects I'm doing. So don't expect this one to really rear its head anytime soon. But I thought, as I got them on, but are there any War Games figures? Got them on milk bottle tops, so I'll attempt them at some stage. So let's get down to the bench and take a look. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. These are the 3 figures I've completed. In fact, let's just move these 2 out of the way for a minute in case it interferes with the perspective of the camera, whatever that's called. I believe these are, hang on, let's just show this. I got these off eBay. I am going to actually get some foundry figures because I realised I was paying, I believe the same price as I would have got. I really like some of those foundry figures, so I think I was paying the same price for these as I was for the foundry. So I'm going to, next time I've got some spare cash, and I usually have about 6 Wild West figures in my stash at any one time, and I'll probably get some foundry figures next time. But these are artisan, and they're supposed to be Texas Rangers, but I mean, you can use them for anything, which is what my intention was. I've done this in a fairly subdued, this guy in this fairly subdued colours. There's Winchester there. I looked up the Winchesters and some were more blued, so the barrels were more blued, and others were more of a metallic finish, so that's why I've gone with these guys just for a change, because I tend to do a lot of blued metal weapons. Basing is my usual cork rocks. As I say, if you rough them up a bit, they give you a nice strata effect, and you can always build them up as well. I haven't on these, but yes, I know it looks like I call it the Mickey Mouse Cactus. I think it's supposed to be a prickly pear that I'd seen online. You guys in the States, you know that it probably doesn't bear any resemblance to a prickly pear, but I think it was a prickly pear anyway. I just needed to find a cactus that I could actually just plodge some mini put together on a bit of a wire armature. No, it's not got any spikes on. I wasn't going that far, but you'll get the idea. In fact, he doesn't want to step back anymore. So yeah, that's our first guy. This one's a bit more dandy with his apparel. So he's got his yellowy shirt and his purple, and we've got a yellow and blues going on there. I've given him a bit more fancy Winchester with the brass effect going on there. A couple of little baby Mickey Mouse Cactus. These haven't had a coat of varnish on, by the way. I haven't actually varnished these yet. I've run out of time today to do it, so I was actually going to do them today and shoot the video tomorrow, but I've got bits of motorbike and everything to spray tomorrow. So, as in the 1 in 35 Kawasaki. This is probably my favourite. I thought, again, try and keep the colours fairly muted. It's probably, I don't know what it's looking like on the other side of the camera yet, but it does seem to show as if the same colours are for the shirt and the trousers, and they're not. It might just be me looking through the viewfinder. Yes, this is supposed to be a cactus and not a couple of cucumbers stuck together. Put a couple of patches on him just to break up things. So that's our 3 Texas Rangers, which are, just to be honest with you, standard Western figures. I've got 3 more left in the stash, so I clean them up and base them over the last couple of. I literally, as I say, I've got more commission. I'm doing commission work, so these literally get done at some ungodly hour in the morning or very late at night. These are Pinkertons. I put a skimmer milliput over just to hide the base. Really, it hides it better than just putting sand and PVA and sand over. You don't often hide the base enough. So I just put a skinner milliput. Probably be cheaper to actually put a skinner Das clay or something over, but I had the milliput out, so I tend to use the milliput. But I might well start using. I actually bought some Das modelling clay recently, so I might well go over to using that just to keep the expense down on this stuff. He's got his glasses. These ones are obviously fairly simple figures to do. I believe these are supposed to be dusters, you know, the very thin linen jackets that kept the dust off in the West, off your main clothes. But I might do a couple in duster colours, which tends to be that like khaki, tan type of colour. But do one in maybe a green or a blue. And then, I should have said with. I can't remember what I'm showing here. Which ones I'm showing? I think this is. I haven't shown this one. Heads all over the shop. The barrel had already broken off this in the packet, so I super glued it. I think your best way of going about with the super glue is if you get some of that kicker, so it's like in a bottle, and it literally makes. I've shown it before. It literally makes super glue go off instantly. So I put I clean off the both ends so they're flat, even if it's not a particularly natural finish. I clean them, just cut them both flat with the scalpel, give them a quick file. Then I put my super glue at one end, put some kicker on the end of the barrel, and then the minute that you join the barrel to the rest of the rifle, it'll stick hard, but it'll still be fairly brittle. So I then put more super glue on and build up the gap that's left as best I can, and then I put some more kicker on just to harden it off instantly, and then I usually just give it a few minutes to gas off, and then I get a file, and I just a normal modelling, the sponge type modelling files, sanders even, and just sand them off. It's not perfect, as you can see, but it's a lot better than having a massive amount of glue, and I can disguise that as the wooden stock, and then there's always a reinforcing barrel around the main barrel. And this tube here, if you don't know, for the hopefully I'm getting this right, the tube there actually holds the rounds. You open the lever and you stick the rounds up through this tube here, and then they get put up into the chamber. He's probably the best, as in he's got more to look at, so I'll probably do him in a brown suit. I didn't want to do him you often see them, you know, all Pinkertons are like done in greys and blues, but I've already got some of those guys as like the wire type figures, so I thought I'd go for probably a brown striped jacket with that, and you know, duster on the top, something like that. So they're the last three I've got in my collection of Western figures to do. As in, I've got no more in the stash, but as I say, I might well look at the Foundry ones. I quite like those. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not a bit smaller, but that's, you know, I'll buy them in a month or so. This was the project I've got on the, if not on the go, I've prepped them all up, and I'll prime them when I do some spraying of my motorbike tomorrow. These are Perry miniatures, Confederate, fairly ragged, all on the shoulder. Is that right? Shoulder shift. And I've got an idea for these to be running along a brook, or that's what we call it in the UK, but like a stream or something like that. A bit Shiloh-esque, you know, with little water courses and everything. I thought I'd get myself some resin, and I've got they sell these, as you know, 6 in a pack. As usual with a lot of the Perry metals, the sculpts are lovely and the poses and things, but the casting I always find lets them down a bit. Now this didn't, normally they have lots, or most of what I've had, I've got lots of the little metal worms that hang off the casts. These didn't actually, they weren't too bad, but they still have, can't see if you can see any on these, they are there, but they often have like almost like cracks in the metal, not cracks as in deep fissures, but just yeah, it's a bit weird, and obviously because there's a lot going on, there's a lot of filing as well that you have to do. Anything else I need to show you there? So it's just a command. I've whittled the command down to a colour bearer. I'll probably leave him with this. He's got obviously the white. Let's get it up. White metal. I've got to clean that off yet. I'll probably leave that as it is. I don't really see the need to change it. I might put them if I can find some brass rod, but they've all got the round hats on. There's no KP. There is one of the. I did a separate one of the drummers. You get 2 drummers, but I only needed one because quite often the drummers were left behind. But I'm sure they took at least one command drummer with them. I'm not 100% sure, but I might get that wrong. But he's coming with them anyway. So there was a KP, whatever you call it, flat. You know, the French style hats, the KPs. There was a drummer with one of those I painted when I got this set a year or 2 ago. So I've just seen a bit of metal sticking up there as well. And also one of the colour bearers have got a KP, but I just thought, well, I've got all these in round hats, so I think I'll stick with them. But more of a Union bloke myself, I must admit, but I like painting Confederates. The painter in me likes painting Confederates because I like the different, you know, the things I can do with them. And the Perrys are always very good at putting different accoutrements and stuff on. I think that's a word. That's our commanding officer. Looks as ragged as his men. And yeah, I've got an idea of, you know, I'm not going to bother showing it now, but I've got an idea of having these guys, you know, running along a water course, get a bit of resin, get a bit of movement in the water around the feet and everything. That's the idea anyway. I've had the idea in my head now for for about 2 years, a year, 2 years. So one last look at these. I will put some photographs of these guys on at the end. I do love my Western figures. I think it's just a time in history I really like. As I say, I'm a big Lincoln County War. That's my main of the whole West, apart from the fur trapping days and that, which I will cover at some stage. But the Lincoln County War is one of the, in the Old West, is my main. thing. I mean, I cover it, you know, I love reading about, you know, Deadwood and Dodge City, Tombstone, you know, and all the people that move in and out of the West. But, you know, the 3 years of the Lincoln County War is really my thing. I'm always trying to find new things on that, you know, different perspectives on it and whatever. So yeah, that's my figures. So I don't know if I'm going to get this. I mean, it's not a big building, but I thought we might as well. Let me just see if I can move the camera back a bit. Whoop. Sorry guys, I won't keep you much longer, but I just thought we'd go through this. Will it fit in? Just about. So this is my. Let's take that off for a minute. This is sold by War Bases here in the UK as a store. I thought I'd put it as a dry goods store, and this didn't come without its problems. Now they could all be down to me. You know what I'm like, not the sharpest tool in the box. So you know, I'm not hammering War Bases here because this is I think this is about £9 or £10. It's a cheap, good starter building. Someone like me who's not got a lot of money, you can do a lot with it. So I'm not knocking it on that score. They suggested you put some sandpaper on, as usual with Gav being Gav. I've maybe put too much on PVA, and I've had a bit of warpage. You always get this with MDF if you're not careful. Let me just turn it round. Sorry guys, I should have used the overhead camera for this. As you can see, I've got warpage on the blooming corner there, and I don't think I'm going to get that to do anything less now, which is annoying. But the reason it also doesn't sit down firmly is everything went together well on the building until I came to put the roof on, and the roof, you have two. Let's have a look. You have this hole here, obviously that one there, and you have, oh, drop falls. Oh, this is going well, this video today. What a car crash, right. Yeah, you have your lugs there. Now you can see I've had to take that off there because for love nor money I couldn't get the roof to fit. They were out of sync, the lugs, and as I say, it could be me. I don't know how though, because you know I'd turned it over one way, then the other way, and you know, and it wasn't having it. It wouldn't, you know, these wouldn't line up with those holes. So bear that in mind if you get one yourself. As I say, for the price, it's not a massively hard thing to you know, trouble a bit off. Yes, you won't get the full security, I suppose, of that, but in the long run that's not massively important because I wanted it to be detachable anyway. So yeah, you know, it's not a huge thing. But one of the other problems you'll get as well is you get these cross beams here, and then you get beams that go across. Now they fit in those lugs under there, the lengthways ones. Well, they will not sit any further down these, and there's not enough wooden material to chobble out of them. You'll cut straight through them, you know, to sit them down, and they won't even get into even go far enough to even fitting into these holes. So in the end, I've left those off. I'm contemplating I might. I mean, styrene sheet's expensive. I don't particularly want to put styrene sheet, you know, across them or anything like that. So I'm probably just going to leave those like they are. This will be painted, obviously. I'm blooming annoyed. You can see the warpage in that. That's obviously that's down to me. But I thought if I put super glue down, it's not going to be. It's going to be floating too much on the top. But I might have to go down that route next time I do one of these buildings. But yeah, that's our roof. So that'll be painted. Now inside, you can see I've left the doors. I've glued the doors a bit open, probably on the dusty, the dust of New Mexico or Arizona or wherever you happen to be. You probably wouldn't want the doors open all the time, but you never know. I don't know how you live in the West, but but I just thought, just for something to look at from the other side, because let's face it, you'll hardly see this side. I would leave those open. Now I've found a place that sells. They don't really sell stores, I don't think, for the inside. I think it's a saloon set you get, but they do like a bar. And I thought, well, instead of me having to make my own up, I can 3D, providing it's the right type of file that I can actually use. I haven't looked into that yet, but I might well. It was about £5 for the to print off the for the interior, and you can get barrels and that. And obviously, if I've got the file, I can make a load of barrels and because it's a dry goods store, so you're selling peas and beans and other dry goods. What I thought of doing was closing off maybe an area there that could be like a living accommodation for the store owner. And I thought when I painted it all out, I would find some blister plastic type stuff to go over the windows. And then they suggest like printing off a store sign, which I might do, but I'm half inclined. The painting is half inclined to try and freehand, which is going to be a disaster. But I've looked at a few sepia photographs of Old West, and I mean proper ones, not obviously modern day ones or abandoned ghost towns or whatever. The real stuff, from the 1870s and 80s, and you could tell a lot of that was just hand painted as best they could. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Just make it a bit more lively. It might take a while yet, as I say. I was showing you this. The only thing that I wish they'd have done, I wish they'd have scored the same as they've done here. Scored it. Why they didn't score it all the way through? If you're going to make it so that people can lift the top up, why not score it all the way through with floorboards, which is a shame really. I think that was a missed opportunity. I don't think it would have cost them anything to do that, because that's all one base, which is good. But yeah, so when you see it, I thought I happened to be looking. I'm always looking at old West photographs. I always have done, ever since the computer age. And they got someone like me in the UK could get access. Because otherwise, it's just expensive books which I can't always afford. But I'm looking at at different old West photographs and that, and I noticed on some of them only the other night how the sides of the buildings, paint's expensive, and especially if you're out there in the West and the railways haven't got to you yet. Either before the railways have got out there, or if they had, that obviously they didn't join up every town. Paint's not only is it expensive to buy, but it's expensive to ship. And you could tell that a lot of them would just paint the frontages of the shops or whatever they happen to be, hotels, whatever, and leave the sides natural wood. So I might do that. Yeah, that's it really. So. That's a little ongoing project. As I say, there are more expensive versions of different shops and stuff on the, you can get fully painted ones and all the rest of it, but they're often like 30-40 quid a pop. And if you can get something for tenner and you're happy to play around with it. As I say, the roof was annoying if it's not down to me. Definitely on the beams wasn't down to me. That's just, it's nothing, because I haven't got the sandpaper underneath and I put that on afterwards. That's annoying, but I just think you buy this as a carcass and then you do what you want with it. So I'm not overly. I like wall bases. I haven't got a beef with them. They give really good service. I buy all my bases from them, so it's annoying. And as I say, that's for me a lost opportunity. If they had the chance to go back to their computer files and make that a floorboard just like the rest of it, I think it would, make it a lot better, because a lot of these Wild West games are really interactive. That makes sense. You are popping the roofs off and having your little gunfights and stuff. So yeah, not that there's no point putting these like this really, is it? Because sitting on milk bottle tops. I never really thought that one out. It's just that because I haven't varnished them yet, they're they're not, you know, they are what they are. Right, guys, thanks for joining me on this one. I'm sorry if I've got a bit heavy at the front. Well, I'm not really sorry, to be honest with you. It's me, it's my channel. You know, as I say, I'm not. I just think stuff's got to get called out. So, you know, you can't. You know, oh well, we won't go into it again because I'm going to get more heavy. But yeah, in the modern world, you don't do that to other people. Right, guys, look after yourselves. Coming up, we'll have a 1 in 35 Kawasaki motorcycle update. There is going to be a Badger update. It hasn't been particularly pushed back because of the Kawasaki. It's just, to be honest with you, I've been pushing along. The next one coming up might well be more figures because I finally finished Mez's commission of Mez's minis. I just need to put another coat of varnish on them, and then obviously wrap them up and send them off to Mez. But so there might be that coming up next, but you'll definitely be seeing a Kawasaki update. There's been fair bits of progress on that. You know, I've built the engine, I've painted the engine. I'm doing the update now, really, aren't I? But I've satin varnished the engine. But I haven't put an oil wash on it yet, so I'll do that over the weekend before I show the video. And I've got bits I've been working on bits of seam lines, if only for just practice. Got myself in a bit of a mess on a couple of them, but like George, good old George from That Mofo Damon channel, go check George out. As he was saying, a lot of the seams you won't actually see. And I keep looking at the real motorbike back in the day, and yeah, there's a lot of the seams actually won't be seen. So although I'm not so happy with those, it's not so much seams, it's more the sink marks that I've tried to put sprue goo on, and then I can't get into them properly, and it's very thin plastic, and you know, all that stuff. But anyway, I'm doing your stuff here. We haven't done this one, but yeah. So motorbike. There will be a Badger update coming up next week, and else. Oh, and hopefully start showing you. So I'm starting as in Monday, starting to paint Jason's 1 in 35 scale figures. So they'll be hopefully completed in the next couple of weeks, and they'll be off to Jason as well. So although that's not commissioned, but I did say I'd paint them for him. So they should be off to him hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, as it keeps getting knocked back. So look after yourselves. Think about others out there. It's not a good time, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.